Come along, children. Now we're going to have a little music.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to First Cut. This is our review of She-Hulk. I'm here with Wikum and RB3. We got a chance to see a couple episodes early, so we want to talk about the show as it's coming out right now. We are excited to talk about this show. This show has had a couple conversations around the internet when it comes to the amount of anticipation for it, the amount of confusion for it, when it comes to tone, when it comes to what kind of story they're trying to tell. But either way, as a show within itself, RB3, I'm going straight to you, man. What'd you think of the show?
Man, I don't really know if so let me get straight to it. I don't know if this show is my cup of tea. And sometimes some of the Marvel shows lean a little bit heavier on comedy. Sometimes they lean a little bit heavier on dramatics. And consistently throughout the MCU, comedy is at the forefront. This show definitely put the comedy at its most forefront. And, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But overall, I just thought it was a little much. Now, when the humor did work, and I think later on in later on episodes, like episodes 3 and episodes 4, I think the humor did have a little bit more of a punch. But it didn't land for me the same way that a lot of other stuff has landed for me. So I don't know if this was it for me, man.
Same question to you, Wikum. What'd you think of the show, man?
I honestly loved it. I had a blast. I totally see the complaints about the silliness and the comedy, and I was worried about that when Kevin Feige said that this would be the silliest show. But what really brings it home for me is Tatiana Mazlani. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She is just so charming and funny and snarky and has this attitude and it's really believable. She doesn't come off as a corny character or some previous shows and movies have done to their characters. I know that, you can't rely on cameos to make a good show, but I love the cameos, man. It adds to it, and the way they have the cameos, it doesn't seem like a cheap way to have the characters. It's an organic way to bring other characters in from previous franchises or current franchises. It feels really real, and everything's has a good reason, and everyone has a good reason to be there. I laughed. I was looking forward to every episode after I watched each one. I couldn't wait to start the next one. And I haven't felt that way about a Marvel show since probably, Moon Knight, So I overall loved it. Highly recommend.
I love that our opinions are just going all over the place, because when you said Moon Knight, RB3's face, I see his eye twitching already. But I'm with you, man. I think She-Hulk, it's a blast. It's so much fun. It's probably the most comedic Marvel show there is. It's the most pure comedy. They're unabashedly saying, hey, we're a sitcom. We're basically Modern Family inside the MCU. We're basically a sitcom inside the MCU. And I appreciate that. I like the little tags at the end of each episode. I think that's hysterical, and they're funny. And it's supposed to be like a day in a life and just a mundane superhero, right? Where it's what would it be if you had superpowers but you weren't a superhero? You'd be changing tires for your dad. You'd be moving stuff around for your family. You'd be the one person to do small little things for the neighborhood, but you wouldn't really be fighting crime and all that. And I think that's a really cool concept. And I think the show is just really well crafted. I think the crafting of the show, the writing, the directing, the acting, all that craft to make a comedy show is completely well done. To make a MCU, interconnected, woven universe, action verse, no. But to make a comedy show and to make it actually funny, I think it works, man. RB3, I think you're in a sour mood, bro. Remind me again, what's your favorite Marvel show?
Loki's
Okay.
my favorite.
Okay.
But I think it's, and that one definitely has comedic stuff, but it
does
has some stuff as well. But I think for me, I think what really lost me was the pilot, if I'm being real, because I really do think 2, 3, and 4. I think it actually does progressively get better.
But that's 3
almost
episodes
to the-
more than 1, bro.
But like it was like a warming up process. Like 2, I wasn't even really feeling. 3, I kind of felt because there's a nice cameo that they had at the end of episode 3. I was like, oh, that was funny. Episode 4, I was like, oh, this one is actually like when she, episode 4 has that funny scene they show in the trailer where she picks up the dude and like carries him on.
Yeah.
That whole moment interaction
dream.
itself was actually kind of funny. Yeah, you want to get carried by an big Amazonian green woman
Yes.
like that? Yeah, that's how you want to be handled.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
man.
hell yeah, if
Hey,
She-Hulk
man,
was
nothing wrong
real,
with
bro.
that.
Hell yeah. I'd swipe right any day,
Hey,
bro.
man.
Wouldn't
Hey,
you,
listen,
man?
Ain't no hate on that. I mean, listen, that's what the show is all about. You know, they said like, hey, it's not good value. But see, would you have valued her when she had turned back regular?
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
the real question.
Oh, Tatiana
See,
Mazlani, bro.
facts.
You don't have to tell me twice, bro. Orphan Black, bro.
Yeah.
Orphan Black Hive, we out here, bro. I've been following her career for a minute, since Orphan Black, if I'm being real. And I'm probably the only person on earth who watched that show. But she's great.
No,
She's
a
a
lot of people
phenomenal
watch
actress. She did you ever see that, RB3? She did like 8 or
Orphan Black.
9 roles. And she did him so distinctly and so creatively. She's an incredible actress. I agree with you so much, Wikum. She's charming. She's funny. She's down to earth. Like I think she kind of just carries the whole show, and that's what makes it worth it in the end. Did anything appeal to you, RB3, towards the latter half?
I definitely there was stuff that appealed to me. I definitely, it's funny, like we're a little bit on opposite sides of this. Y'all are like, oh, the Marvel integrations felt natural. I don't know if they felt the most natural to me. Why was there a random Sicarian ship that just like pulled up out of nowhere?
I think they'll explain that though.
Yeah, sure, they'll get.
They
to that,
literally
I'm sure.
said, "We'll explain
Bro.
this later."
And also,
I get
just
some hate.
all you got to know, it's Sicarian and Ragnarok. Like, you know that's going to come back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I am on hater mode. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
bro.
then that being said, though, I even though like I thought some of the stuff with Wong was a little bit forced in the beginning, man, I thought some of the scenes that they had towards the later half where it was Wong interacting with another character who just kind of shows up and
random character.
And they're kind of like bonding over Sopranos and stuff like that. I thought that was really fun. I thought and all y'all, what y'all are saying is absolutely correct. And in terms of it being a comedy and having like comedy character moments, they do have really good character moments. There's a little wink and a nod to the previous Hulk, actor and
that was
character in
great.
there that I thought was actually like a laugh out loud moment
Yeah,
for me
it
too.
was.
There's another side character who was like trying to be a magician guy who was funny. There's a lot of little things that are here and there kind of funny, but then at the same time, I can't help but feel like some of it is just not. It's just not. It just doesn't hit as hard for me as maybe I think if it was like a pure comedy. I feel like my biggest problem is that it dances the line between trying to be a comedy and trying to be a Marvel show, like kind of at the same time, and it probably balances that line pretty well, but at the same time I don't know, like I feel like it doesn't do that the best. So I feel like the parts where it can be a pure comedy, it does this best, and the parts that it could be a pure Marvel show, it does its pure best, but the balance isn't always right for me.
Yeah, I see like a lot of of what you're saying, that you had issues with the show for sure, but like for me, like what how I've been approaching Marvel shows and movies is sort of trusting them a little bit and letting them lead the way as far as like tone, and letting go of my own expectations of what I think the universe should be in 4, 5, and 6. Because Marvel's really good at retroactively improving a show or a movie. Like, you could go back to like Thor Ragnarok right now. You could go back to Iron Man 1, and it's almost better than when it came out. Because I feel like for me, my expectations of what I think it should be like get in the way a lot. And so I just went into this like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun. I'm just excited that like Marvel is having a new show. Am I gonna hate it? Am I gonna love it? I don't know. But Yeah, for me, it's a lot of trust in Marvel. Like, I know that all this is going to come back. Like, I know all this is going to pay off. All the setups are going to pay off. And, like, with the Thunderbolt show and, like, yeah.
I kind of want to go off what you're saying, RB3, because I was thinking about that. And I'm actually on the opposite end of that. I kind of feel like Marvel shows at times kind of fumble tone. I think the best example of that is Hawkeye. I think they try to be like super comedic and super funny and goofy, and then also be like crying
super
at the
dark
end
and, serious,
and dark and like I'm gonna kill you, but I'm a killer, and it's like it didn't work for me at all. And then I think of something like Loki and WandaVision, who did it really well, who balanced the two tones of like comedy and seriousness. I think those two shows did it really well, and Miss Marvel too. But this show, I feel like this show more than every other show didn't do that. I almost feel like it just is a pure comedy. I don't think I've seen one emotional moment in the show yet. I mean, the 4 episodes we saw, I guess when she's talking to her dad, but that was like 30 seconds where she says, yeah, Dad, I'm kind of sad. But I think it's just a pure comedy. Like, I really do feel like that's why it's so fun and original and fresh for me, because Marvel does do kind of this like amalgamation of tones of comedy and seriousness, but this one felt like just pure comedy to me. It didn't feel like they were trying to do the Hawkeye, like we're going to add like tearjerkers at the end of every episode. And I'm just like, it doesn't work. But this one was just like, at the end of every episode, we're going to break the fourth wall and joke. And then at the very end, it's going to be another joke. Like, it just felt like a sitcom, like joke, 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 fun. Let's have a good time. I don't know. I don't know if you have a counter to that.
That's interesting. I didn't think about the Hawkeye comparison, but I'm not saying this is as bad as Hawkeye.
It's
but
not.
I definitely felt
Believe
like, no,
me, it's not.
It's not.
I think this is one of the better ones, to be honest.
No, it is probably like on the mid to mid higher tier for me. But I will say it is, talking about Hawkeye, it is more of that extension of that like kind of family-ish tone. And, I think I'm also coming from this as somebody who, maybe it's a little bit personal bias too. I know growing up in my household, my grandma used to watch the old Lou Ferrigno Hulk TV show in the 70s, which was also a lawyer show. So you kind of have that expectation of, they're going to do some lawyer stuff. And when she does do a lawyer stuff, I actually kind of do enjoy the lawyer aspect of it too. And I enjoy seeing her workplace. There's a great subplot with one of her coworkers, Dennis, who gets like caught up in the, like, that's what I'm saying. Episode 3 and 4, it actually does get like more in tone with like what I think is funny, but that, and again, comedy is all subjective. So everything that I think is funny, it might not hit. It might hit differently for other people. So maybe the jokes hit funnier for y'all than hit for me. I just don't think they hit for me. Especially I think in episode 1, where I've talked about this with you, Andres. I think for me personally, CGI characters, full CGI characters, kind of put up a little bit of an emotional wall for me. Yeah. So
you hate it
when it's. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but it's just not the greatest. And then I think, especially when it's not just She-Hulk, but it's Hulk, then they're 2 full CGI characters just talking, interacting the entire time. It's almost like I'm watching like computer code. You know what I mean? Like, it might not have the same emotional resonance for me as if it is with like human characters. That's what I mean. So.
Yeah, totally. And like going back to like sort of like the tone, the thing of it being like a comedy, I feel like it's really good to sort of keep a variety of like genres, like even though like to put that lawyer show twist on it, to make it a comedy, but it's like not just a comedy. It's also like she's older, right? She's like a millennial. She's not the same comedy as Miss Marvel, she's like adult, like she's talking about dating and like all this other stuff, and like her career. And, I think that's a good way to keep the universe diverse and not stale, is figuring out sort of different ways to like fuse the tone of like comedy and like action, and I think they're doing a good job of sort of like figuring out a good balance and a way to keep everything fresh, because we're getting so much stuff in phase 4. Like we're like barely halfway through, like, so I really appreciate that diverse sort of tone.
Yeah.
Which, it's funny. Sorry, I was gonna say, you talk about the tones and for lawyer shows. I guess they do have to make this one pure comedy if they're gonna bring back Daredevil. That got to be a lot more serious, right? That got to be like the full lawyer dramatic show. You got to have the other one be the full comedy show with She-Hulk. So I get that.
Yeah, and I feel like he might only show up for a little bit. I don't think it's gonna be that dramatic when he shows up. I think it'll be pretty quick.
I'm talking about the Daredevil show, when they actually have his own spin-off
Oh yeah,
show.
yeah, that too for sure. Once they bring that back,
show.
it'll be a lot more serious. You're gonna have Punisher screaming at the stand, like in that one episode. Shout out to
I
Daredevil.
hope
That was a great show.
Like, I saw a quote that like Kevin Feige or one of the writers was saying that it was going to be a lighter version of the character, that like they already explored sort of the dark, gloomy Daredevil. So, and a lot of people are worried about that.
Yeah, I feel like that's like another topic, because I feel like when it comes to Daredevil, when it comes to Kingpin, we've seen the two characters already, No Way Home, and then we saw Kingpin and Hawkeye, and they were both a little different. Like, you could kind of feel like they were a little different. And I feel like that's on purpose. I feel like it's maybe like a different universe or something. I feel like that's going to happen to Deadpool too. I'm sorry, Deadpool fans, it's going to happen. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. It's just what the MCU does.
They're going to put him in a Hawaiian shirt too. They're going to put him in a Hawaiian
Yeah, they're
shirt.
going to put in a Hawaiian shirt, and instead of cussing, he's going to be like, poopy pants. And he's going to say like a bunch of dumb stuff like that. Because he can't say
He's
the
right behind
F-bombs.
me, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not going to say F-bombs, bro. That's just the case. But when it comes to this show, though, I feel like you're right, Wikum. I feel like it's different. It's not a teenager in high school fighting powers. It's not an international espionage. It's just a lawyer and her goofy adventures with her paralegal. And I think that's a lot of fun, and it's different. And I feel like the little tags at the end, for anyone, I always mention this anime every time I'm on this, but for anyone who's seen Jujutsu Kaisen, the little jujutsu scrolls at the end, which are little comedy beats that have nothing to do with the episode but are just pure comedy, kind of encapsulate to me the show as a whole, where it's just like, you know what, we're a comedy show, we're even doing little bits at the very end because we're just so self-aware of what our show is. So maybe that's why I appreciated the show. I'm excited to keep watching it for what it is, which is just a really fun MCU comedy show and not a very self-serious or half-serious MCU show. But any final thoughts, RB3?
Nah, again, maybe I came off a little bit more hating than I should have. In the
No,
beginning.
you're probably gonna have a bunch of people on your side. Who knows?
Nah, I mean, I'm not even. I ain't even trying to come at this from like the anti-woman stance.
Yeah,
I'm all for
all those guys are gonna
what I mean?
retweet
I'm
you,
all
bro.
for it. Nah, I'm telling y'all, it's not even my situation.
All those guys
like,
are like,
I
yo,
appreciate
listen
the
to
show.
this dude. He's right.
Nah, listen. Tatiana Mazlani is fire. I think
Yeah.
the way they explore gender in the show is actually kind of cool, and I think the way, and like you said, Wikum, the way they explore like dating and being a millennial of that age, is I think it's really good. I just overall, I think
Old
overall,
millennial, like Wikum said.
not old. No, not old.
You said old, bro.
Okay.
I heard it.
Nah, I didn't mean to say old. I didn't say
No,
old.
not
I didn't
you.
say
Wickham
old.
said
Run
old.
that tape back.
Did I?
We gotta run that tape
You're
back.
like, this
Gotta
is
run
an
that tape
older MCU character. And I was like, whoa, millennial, old. Wait a minute. No, it's true. This show's spot on with that.
back. Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. Online
It's
dating
tough.
is tough.
It's tough.
But yeah, I definitely really, I will still be watching it, and I think maybe by the end of it, I will end up appreciating it. Like, we might end up, getting back together and talking about it eventually. And I ended up appreciating it more. But I think for right now, I think the pilot and the second episode really didn't do it for me. But 3 and 4 get a little bit better.
And any final thoughts, Wikum?
Yeah, I would say with this show, like, it's a great time. It's Marvel, and I appreciate it because it feels like it's for a more mature audience, not older, but yeah, but it's for like it's like an adult. It's an adult's life, and it's a little bit refreshing, right? Coming off the end of Miss Marvel, So I personally related a lot to the show. I had a great time, and I couldn't wait to see every episode, and I can't wait to see the next 4. I'm really excited.
I'm pumped for it too. I think for the most part, we're pretty excited about it. But either way, She-Hulk, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let us know if you're looking forward to the finale. Let us know what was your favorite part, your favorite bit at the very end. I think that's a cool little concept we can do maybe. Like favorite tag at the end of each episode. That'd be kind of fun at the end of the season. But let us know all that in the comments down below. You can follow me at Squad Leader Ace. You can follow RB3. Where at, man?
At Director RB3.
And Wikum.
at WIKVM on Instagram and TikTok.
You can follow us at First Cut TMO as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. That's the best way to support us. Share, all that good stuff. We're trying to come back. We're on a comeback. We're doing it. Comeback season, especially with the MCU and with possibly new Star Wars shows coming out as well. So be on the lookout for that. But either way, guys, for the First Cut crew, we're going to be peacing out. So peace.
It's either me or you. Take you out the equation. It's either me or you. You do the math. Only one can remain.